Hi everyone, hola amigos. Welcome to Salsa of the Month. I'm Marisela from EVPL Central.
This month's salsa, Creamy Chipotle Salsa.
The star ingredient of this salsa, of course, are the Chipotle Chiles. Now, they have a very distinctive, unique flavor, and that's smokiness. But underneath the smokiness and the heat, they're a little sweet. I remember the day when chipotles, well, no one even knew what they were in the US, and now you can get them just about anywhere. They've become very, very popular. The word chipotle comes from the Nahuatl word chipotle, and that means smoked chile. By the way, Nahuatl is the language the Aztecs spoke. The preparation of chipotles is an ancient process that comes to us from pre-Hispanic times. There was a man, in fact, he was a missionary that came to the New World. His name was Bernardino de Sahagún, and he wrote, in fact, he wrote 12 volumes about the early history, what he found, and what the natives related to him about Tenochtitlan. Tenochtitlan was the Aztec capital, and unfortunately, after the conquest, Cortés had the city demolished. I mean, the only things he couldn't really demolish were the pyramids that you can still visit to this day. But Sahagún paints such a picture with his words, and it's through writings like Sahagún's and writings from soldiers that wrote back home that were here during the conquest, and also through Cortés writing to the king to inform him about what he had just found. All these people were in awe of this incredible city. And Sahagún talks to us about the chipotle, and he even describes how they smoked the chilies. You know, the whole process really is given to us in one of his volumes. So I find this interesting. So we're going to make a recipe that has been around for a while. Today, Mexico produces over 15,000 tons of these dried chipotles. And what a chipotle is, basically, it's just a ripened jalapeño that's been left on the vine until it turns red. And then they are dried and smoked for days with aromatic wood until they are completely dehydrated. At this point, they can be used dry, or they can be ground up and used as powder. But typically, they are sold in a rich, smoky flavored adobo. So cans are really what most people use. So they're not dry anymore. They've been rehydrated, and they are in this very most thick, delicious adobo. And you can buy these cans of chipotles just about at any supermarket. I got mine at a Mexican store on Green River Road. In fact, I got a couple of sizes. I remember how my mom would always have a chipotle salsa in the fridge, and it's really simple to make. You just grab a can, open it up, you know, plop it in the blender and liquefy it, and that's it. You don't need to add anything. You know, you've got the chipotle salsa. And in Mexico, it's used for a lot of things, but especially Caldo Tlalpeño. And that's a very, very Mexican chicken soup. And it has chipotle sauce, or even one big chipotle right plopped in the middle of the soup. It's one of my favorite soups. Now, if you're looking to make your own chipotles, striped chipotles, you can. And then, of course, you can make an adobo. You can do that also. It's a lot of work to make a chipotle. What you would do is you'd buy the green jalapeños at your supermarket, and then maybe put them in a bowl next to a sunny window and let them ripen. And they're going to turn red. Now, most chiles turn red when they're ripe. Once they're ripened, you can stick them in a dehydrator for about 10 hours, and then in your smoker for at least 2 hours. So make sure you have a lot of aromatic wood to do this so they can smoke. This creamy chipotle salsa is very easy to make, and it's delicious over chicken or shrimp. In fact, tonight I'm putting it over chicken, and I'm going to make some rice so I can soak this creamy deliciousness in it. Now, the chipotles, in the ingredients, I call from 1 to 3 chipotles, and that depends on how spicy you like it. I've told you before, my husband can't take the heat. So I'm going to put 1 chipotle in there, probably the smallest one I can find. But I'm going to complete the flavor of this creamy salsa with some smoked paprika. That's why I say it's optional, because if you're going to throw in a lot of chipotles, you don't need the paprika. I do. So at least 1, and then I'll taste it to see how it is. Now, the recipe calls for Mexican salsa, Mexican crema, and it's Mexican cream. You can substitute it if you don't have it. You can substitute it for heavy cream. It works fine. I've used it many times with heavy cream. Once I even used it with sour cream. Now, my niece once tried it with yogurt. She decided, I need to cut down the calories and have something very nutritious, and she did. And it tasted fantastic with yogurt as well. It kind of gave it a Middle Eastern flavor, so really good stuff. Something about crema, you can buy it at any Mexican market, but something about crema is that it's salty. So watch your salt. You may not need to add any more salt at the end if you use the crema, because it is pretty spicy. It's pretty salty. Also, if you can't find the Mexican crema, the crema from El Salvador works just as well. Now, I use jack cheese because it's the closest thing I know to the taste I'm familiar with, which is like queso chihuahua. But if you like some other cheese, feel free to change it. Now, garlic, 1 to 2 cloves, depending on your taste. If you want it a little bit more saltier, of course, you're going to add the salt. I usually add chicken bouillon if I'm using just regular heavy cream. I like it better. And I told you about the smoked paprika, and we're going to use a bit of water as well. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you do is put your jalapeños in the blender. I'm just going to use that 1 jalapeño and a bit of water. And this recipe is not written in stone. If it's too much water for you, if it's too little, you can always adjust it. I'm using about a teaspoon of the smoked paprika, and I am going to throw 1 garlic clove, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blend this, liquefy. Okay, now I've got my little stove set at about a medium low. So I'm going to add everything into the pot. First goes the chipotles. And then I'm going to add the cream, about 1.5 cups. It already smells good. Now, many times I've done this sauce, and I've actually put in shrimp in the sauce. Once I get everything in there and it's nice, the cheese is melted and everything, I put raw shrimp in there and let it cook for a few minutes, and it's very good. Now let me put in the cheese. And I'm just going to let that melt, and then I'm going to taste it for salt. It probably will be okay because, like I said, I'm using crema, and crema tends to be a little salty. It's getting there. I'm going to grab a spoon so I can taste this. I'm going to taste it for salt. It's very good. It's perfect. It doesn't need salt. So now I'm going to put this over my chicken and my rice. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to eat this deliciousness. I actually made a bed of rice, put the chicken over it, and then poured the salsa over the chicken. And now I'm going to enjoy it. Join me next month when I'm going to make my favorite salsa of all times, Chile de Arbol Salsa. So join me next month on Salsa of the Month.